Is it weird that I have my glasses on? Should I take them off?
It's all right.
It's all right.
And with that, welcome into the podcast. We have the one and only Eliot.
Yep. Nice to meet you, Buster.
Nice to meet you too. Indoors with sunglasses on.
Yep.
Did you wake up this morning feeling like you had to put some sunglasses on?
It was just sunny outside, and I didn't want to, take them off and shit. I'm actually going to take them off. That's mad weird. I just wanted something for the intro, just to get us comfortable and going.
What excites you the most right now?
About life?
Anything. You can answer this anyway.
I think that's a deep question to start off the podcast. That's just how you're going.
We're swinging.
You're swinging. I think it's just, I feel every day figuring life out more and more, figuring out yourself, figuring out what makes you tick, figuring out, just the cycles, and how everything always goes up and down. And I think when you're in the up, it's so easy to enjoy shit, but it's when you're in the downward spiral, is like, how do you recognize it and how do you pivot that as quickly as possible, or not even pivot it, but how do you become aware of it while it's happening and not get too caught up in, when shit's not going well, when you feel your energy isn't right, when you're in the room with people and you feel kind of attached, and you feel like not that you don't have power, but you don't feel like you're your full self,
Yeah. I mean, you're not always 100%.
Yep.
And if you were always 100%, it wouldn't be special.
And it's corny and cliche and everyone always says it, but it's very true.
I thought you were going to say you were most excited about the Philadelphia 76ers winning the championship this year.
I'm a Boston Celtics fan, so I'm super excited that we just swept the Indiana Pacers 4-0.
This comes out in a couple weeks, though, so it's going to be interesting to see how this
swept by the Bucks.
reflects back.
So what do we want to get into in this? Because we can get into basketball, we can get into life. This could honestly be a 2-hour podcast. If you want to go, I'll go.
This could be a 24-hour podcast.
Yeah, I could go 2 hours. You want to start off with basketball?
There are so many different directions we could go in. First,
you have them at least written down in your little notebook.
Like 48 pages if you pause it correctly.
For everyone listening and everyone watching, I think me and Buster now just going super old school with the notes and stuff. I was gonna show people, but yeah. Been writing a lot lately. What do you? I'm gonna flip this quick and ask you a question. What do you find so satisfying with because I don't know what it is. I feel is interesting, but what do you like about the notebook?
I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
As of 0.4 seconds ago, I know exactly what it is.
Tell me.
It's because when you're on your phone and you're writing stuff down, notifications are constantly coming up, distracting you. So when you're actually writing something down, there's no notification that pops up at the top of your
Imagine there
notebook.
was.
That's when creativity is gone.
Yeah.
But for now, there's no notification that pops up at the top of my notebook. So I can actually get fully immersed into an idea and then write it down on a piece of paper. Yep. And then it's there forever.
So you feel as if it's less distractions and, kind of a social media mobile detox.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's the only way I can do that.
Yeah.
Because I can justify it by what comes out of it.
By the way, when you're on your phone, this has happened to you too. You open your phone for a specific reason. Mm-hmm. I'm sure this happens to everyone. You open your phone to check the weather. 5 minutes go by. You're on Instagram. You're on Twitter. Because you get all these, like you're saying, these notifications, and you're just distracted. And our attention spans are becoming ridiculously fragmented. And I think for two people, I think you get ADD. I read the article with your mom. You were diagnosed when you were in 6th grade. Was it?
I was very young.
You were 6?
Yeah, and dyslexia too.
When you were 6 or in 6th grade?
6.
So for me too, I haven't been diagnosed, but I got something, man. I have
100% do ADHD.
Probably, but this phone shit is not helping. At all.
It just allows you to be successful with it.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of back in the day, somebody would try to minimize you and put you through the already existing system. Yeah. You just literally use that by allocating so many more hours into it than anybody else, because you'll bounce off the wall, but something will get done out of the bouncing.
Yeah, but it's how worth is something getting done off the bouncing versus just knowing what exactly you're going to do and doing it?
So here's my question.
Yep.
If you could be doing anything in the world, money's not a factor.
Yeah.
How close is that to what you're doing right now?
Money's not a factor at all?
Money's not a factor at all. Like, you get the same amount of money as you're making right now.
Yeah, I think it's fairly. I think it's hard though because I'm more motivated by meeting more people and forming more relationships than I am with money. Does that make sense? So what if we reframe the question? Because that's also.
So then the answer is the same.
Maybe, yeah.
That's what the answer is.
Yeah.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best.
Yeah. But it is, but it also isn't. There's this weird voice in you that's like, you know, I think you're very good at this. You need to always allow yourself to trust your intuition.
Yes.
And trust to do what you love.
100%.
Even if it's hard to let go of past structures that have allowed you to do shit you don't like. But if it's your image that you built up, or if it's the money you made, or if it's the dependency that your family has on you, or if it's all these different factors that don't, quote unquote, allow you, of course you can do it, but allow you to break out of it. I get caught up in that sometimes, Buster. Like, you're not fully present and doing what you love at times. So that's why that's why I'm excited, like I said in the beginning, about figuring this all out as you go. I feel like every day more and more it's figuring out.
It becomes a little bit more clear.
Yeah.
Like a tiny bit.
How do you trust your intuition more and more?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And over the years, like if you think about where you were like mentally 3 years ago, totally different.
Totally.
Just like,
but still,
you had no idea. Like I had no idea.
So similar.
Similar in what way?
That the way I feel now, I felt 3 years ago. It's just the people you've met, the lessons you've learned, the things you've done wrong, the things you've done right.
Yeah.
The things you've wasted time on, the things you've spent time on.
Especially the things that have unfortunately distracted you.
Yeah.
Or in certain instances for anybody that's like in school, for example, kept them down.
Yeah.
And the second they got free, they're like, oh, snap.
That's what happened to you, right?
Same with you, I'm sure.
I was balling in high school. Let me just tell you that. I never had any issues. I had a great time. I loved my high school in Sweden.
Okay.
Loved it.
That's much better.
Yeah. Like, I was an actually decent student. Like, everyone always says, oh, I was a bad student. I can never relate. I was like, I just did my job. Like, it was, just had fun.
Yeah. Well, I was not that. So, how do you first get in contact with a man by the initials of DR? And he's not a doctor by any means.
Dr. Rodman? So, yeah, I mean, Dennis Rodman. The real story is, not that I've told the fake story, but I like to preface it sounded better. Are you cutting like 60-second clips and stuff from this?
Yeah, it's getting cut.
That's smart. So the real story is, I met this guy 3 years ago, Brandon, at a bar with this other. How far should I go back?
As far back as you want to go.
All right, so 4 years ago, I was looking for jobs.
In the 1980s, Dennis Rodman won multiple champions.
Now, so 4 years ago when I was still in high school,
I
was looking for jobs. I was looking for people in the U.S. who I felt were interesting. Two of those people were Gary Vaynerchuk and Gerard Adams. Those were two people I was in between. So I hit both of them up. I think Gerard responded quicker than Gary responded. What I did, I went into his recent vlog series that he just dropped. I'll show you the email after just for you. Maybe you pop it in the screen. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do it, but maybe you will.
Somebody might.
Justin might have to do that. So I wrote an email essentially of all the wrong things I found with this vlog and all the good things. And just like, super specific timestamps. You should do this. You should transition. This is a clip you should cut for social. You should. And he was like, damn, he was impressed. He was like, you coming swinging. You just coming swinging with all these things. And this is for Gerard. So he connected me with his video editor at the time, Digital Jeff. He goes by Digital Jeff. So long story long, I ended up going with Gary because I went to meet him in London and just opportunities happened to fail. So when I moved to New York, I came and I was going to meet. And then I went to meet Digital Jeff at a bar randomly. Okay. He's like, yo, let's link up. Like, we've been talking back and forth over email when I was in Sweden. So now I was in the US. I knew 3 people. And he was one of them. I get to this bar. He's got a guy with him, Brandon. So he meets me. We talk shop. And then I don't meet that guy for 2 more years. Honestly, I was like, what's this dude's deal? Like, I remember my account got, I got some like weird email. You know, when you get weird emails, like my account was about to get disabled or something. I thought my account was going to get disabled. I thought it was getting hacked. So I immediately thought that it was Jeff and Brandon who tried to hack me.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, superstition. So for like a year, I didn't talk to him. Like, at all. I just didn't talk to him. So then Brandon comes to me. He was like, yo, I was doing a live stream and he was like, yo, and we linked up for some reason. I think I bought a pair of shoes from him or something. And then he's like, yo, I just signed Dennis Rodman. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I just signed Dennis Rodman as a
Were
client.
you a fan of Dennis Rodman?
No. Like,
you knew who Dennis was though because of his cultural impact and whatnot. North Korea stuff.
I wish I filled myself back. I didn't even know how much of a cultural impact he'd made. Like, I wasn't that in a million years, I couldn't have guessed how much of an impact he had because I was Sweden boy. Like, I just thought he was this outlandish dude.
So who was your favorite? I know your favorite player is Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
But were you a fan of anybody from the area?
Just guess.
Who are we looking at? Foreign players? Like,
no, just guess. Like, it's going to make sense with the Rondo stuff. My dad being from Boston. There's two people.
Pierce, Garnett.
There's Pierce and Larry Bird.
Okay.
So Larry Bird, he was my favorite because we were in Sweden once, me and my dad. There was this game and my dad looks out. He's like, yo, Eliot. And I was small. I was like 10 years old. He's like, that's legendary. And Larry Bird was sitting 3 rows in front of us. He's like, that's a legendary Celtics player. And the only thing I had was my Harry Potter book. And that was the only thing I had because I was obsessed with Harry Potter at the time. So he's like, ask him for an autograph, something. So I stand up. I say, Larry. He looks back. I'm like, I love Boston. He's like, oh, awesome. So he comes up to us. My dad and Larry talk shop. Obviously, my dad's been a Larry. My dad was a real thief there. He wanted to meet Larry. I didn't know
used you, but I love it. I'm okay with that.
In the best way. And I was like, Larry, can you sign my book? So he signed my Harry Potter book.
Do you still have it though? That's the important question.
I still have it home in Sweden.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like probably one of my most prized possessions.
Top 3 prized possessions. Is that one of them?
Yeah, I think that's one of them.
What would the other 2 be?
I think my dog, if that counts.
That qualifies.
Yeah, that qualifies.
You can't say no to that. No, it doesn't qualify.
But then you get into like, are you supposed to do your family? Like, is your family supposed to be there? I definitely say my dog, and then I'd say just all the footage. You know what? The real answer is my hard drive that I think I just lost. I think I just lost my hard drive from footage from 2016. I'd vlogged every day until 2018, and I can't find this hard drive, Buster. And I'm heartbroken because I just recently lost, or my computer got stolen. Shout out to Dylan. You know the story, right?
What's the story?
So I'm back and forth to New York and LA.
Mm-hmm.
I fly into LA because we got some shit going with Rodman. We got to get back on track for that, by the way. But Dylan, I go to Dylan's spot. Me and Dylan hang out, talk shop. I put my bags in his trunk. We're like, oh, we got to go eat. We go to Santa Monica, drive into parking garage number 4, up 8 levels. I open the trunk. I take, I think, $100 out because I was going to pay for the food. I close the trunk. I think I put some cologne on. Boom, close the trunk from my backpack. And then we walk out. We take the elevator down. And Dylan's like, yo, Eliot, we're crossing the street. Yo, Eliot, I don't think I locked the car. I'm like, nothing's going to happen.
No.
Fast forward 15 minutes, maybe. We ate quick. 15 minutes later, we walk up. We open the trunk. I'm like, yo, where the fuck, can I swear?
Yeah.
I already did it. So
it's too late.
Where the fuck is my backpack? My blue backpack. I'm like, it had my passports, 2 of my passports.
No.
My MacBook from 2013, not backed up. All my shit. A pair of sweatpants and like a pair of other sunglasses that were actually not as cool as these. So I'm kind of happy about that. So yeah, that's the story of me telling Dylan nothing's going to happen, him not locking the car, and then us coming back. I'm like, where the fuck is my backpack? We drive around. And then I'm like, no, Dylan, I literally put cologne on because I smelled like shit after the flight. I'm 100% sure the backpack was in the back of the trunk.
And you going forwards will now lock everything.
Yeah.
And every single person.
Everything will be backed up. And everyone who's listening to this, please do me a favor of like, put something, because Find My iPhone does not work, by the way. Find an alternative to that. Back up all your shit. Buy a hard drive tonight. back it all up. So at least you have something once a year at least.
Because the value's not in the equipment.
No,
Equipment doesn't matter at all.
I don't care about the passports.
Yeah. I mean, you can replace that.
Yeah.
It's footage.
6 years of documentation and footage of like pivotal years too. Like every year's going to be pivotal, but like from high school to fucking New York.
Right. 15 to 25 is more important than 85 to 95.
100%. Tell us why. I got to take this off because I'm sweating.
I mean, I think it just comes down to the journey. Unless you start the biggest company of your life at 85, which people have done.
Sure.
This guy that I met, I was in Vancouver for the last week. This guy started Greycroft, one of the biggest venture capital funds, when he was in his 80s.
And wait, how old is this guy?
He's a billionaire.
How old is this guy now?
It's like 85.
Damn.
Killing it. High energy.
Damn.
Just killing it.
How old did you think he was? Because I'm interested in like
70.
people like, how old is Brandon Steiner?
70-ish. I don't know how old Brandon is. I think 60s.
I would have guessed like 50 because he's just so...
Oh, amazing energy.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, do you think we're ever going to lose that?
I think everybody does it to some extent. I think a lot of it depends on what you do, how stressed you are, kids, family, this and that. Do you have like lawsuits going on? Like, are you getting like whatever it is? Like, there are things that can impact that.
Yeah.
Are you doing what you love?
Yep.
The question that I asked you earlier, which I think really defines happiness, and why I like that question is because like if money wasn't an option or money didn't matter, what would you be doing? Yeah. And if your answer is exactly what I'm doing right now, then you're good.
So my question is, since I think you're way more balanced than I'm fucking up and down, and I'll be high and I'll be low. Like, I think you're a lot more balanced. My question, I don't know what that had to do with what I was going to say. I was just giving you daps.
Dennis Rodman in the 90s.
My question is, how do you allow yourself? Have you thought of this at all? And this is something for people to think about as well. How do you allow yourself to be honest when answering that question? Because I think a lot of people, when asking themselves that question, they won't even put themselves in the mind state of answering it honestly. They won't even go there. There's something in their brain that's not flicked, or they're not willing to enter that territory. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, I think it's very similar to like everybody's going to PR everything they do and think. And if it's a question as macro as that, they're going to PR to the ultimate extent.
But even if they're not talking to someone, like people, you PRing.
PR to yourself.
They PR to themselves.
And that's where it gets scary.
That's where it's fucked.
Yeah,
that's where you fuck yourself over.
I agree.
When you start peering to yourself, you're not honest with yourself.
Everybody is their own PR person, like within their own head.
Weird.
It's like your conscious is PRing to your like physical, like everything that you're saying, everything that you're feeling, and that's your consciousness PRing to itself.
Yep,
which is scary.
It's super scary.
But when you realize that, then you can break out of it.
That's the thing. It's ego, whatever. I love that you put it that way. When you realize it, that's the first day that you can change. And you're always going to realize. It's just like the layers that you realize it to.
Yeah. And my answer is I'm always going to try to like put myself closer to what that is.
Yep.
Though I don't know what that is.
Yep.
I think it's doing exactly what I'm doing right now on the biggest scale possible, because that's why I'm doing what I'm trying to do. But, you're always going to change it.
I think the question also is, I love that question. I think taking it further is, how do you feel about yourself, even if you weren't doing what you're doing? Does that make sense?
Explain.
How do you feel about yourself so that you don't put your self-worth into what you're achieving? You know what I mean?
That makes a little bit of sense.
How do you not put the worth of yourself into your art or into your craft while still maintaining and wanting to do the best job that you can do at said thing? I think that's just something interesting to think about, of like, what if you were literally a school teacher, or what if you were literally, which I want to be, by the way, when I'm 50. Like, what if you literally were doing nothing? I'm not equating being a school teacher with doing nothing. I think being a school teacher is probably the most important job in the world.
Yeah, a lot of very wealthy people will go back and do it because it's much more enjoyable 100%. And they feel better because teaching other people leaves them satisfied.
And you're around young kids with energy. Which I think I'm going to do forever.
Energy.
Just keep young people close to you as young as possible, while keeping the older people, like the older generation that you can learn from, and balance that.
Yes. Always.
Like, I think my friends are going to be 80 and 15.
I agree. I think those are the people that are doing it right.
Yeah. Yep.
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Brandon Rubenstein.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, so he said that was a crazy segue. So, yeah, he said, you want to work on this? I said, yeah, sure. And then slowly but surely, we just started working together. And then there's just like, I think in October or September last year, it's just like, fuck it, I'll start doing this full time. It makes sense. I started coming up with strategies. We got access to the page and everything just started working out. And yeah, ever since we've been making some progress with him and his brand.
The one thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't told you, I've kept a couple things so that I could tell you on video.
Yes.
Somebody asked me about the Dennis Rodman blank comments a little while ago. Yeah. A bunch of people have it. Like,
explain that.
So Dennis Rodman, for context, although I'm so confident in this that I think pretty much everybody that would find this podcast knows, but Dennis Rodman, let's just say Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is leaving blank comments on Instagram using the voice feature and then allowing, what was it?
It wasn't the voice feature.
What was it?
But keep going. Explain what it was.
Does it work with the voice feature? But regardless, blank comments on Instagram and everybody was just going bonkers.
Yeah. So essentially, what Buster was saying, it was just Dennis Rodman leaving a comment that said nothing, which is the blank comment, and people were freaked. First of all, they're like, how the fuck is he doing this?
Yep.
Second of all, they're like, why is he doing this everywhere? And the third one was like, how do I do? Like, how do I get involved?
Yeah. Which is the best.
It's the best.
Those are the keys. Those are the principles.
So, and then, dude, people were making videos of how to make it. Got like hundreds of thousands of views on those said videos. Like, I think it's got 150,000 views. But essentially, I always use the blank comments to separate my captions on Instagram, on my personal page.
That's interesting. Got it.
Because you weren't able to do it otherwise.
Yep.
And it was a character. It wasn't the voice feature that everyone was saying. So I did that. And then just one time I was like, I'm just going to try from Dennis's page on my Dunk page. The main page was the basketball community, blah, 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 2.3 million, 2.2 million followers. And I did it. And then I responded from the Dunk page. I'm like, wait, how the fuck did you actually do that? I responded from Dunk to Dennis. And the comment flew. It got like 10,000 likes.
Really?
So that's
on Dunk.
And that's when I knew it was going to work. And then started doing it slowly but surely on Dennis's shit. And then people were like, yo, Dennis, like, legit, how are you actually doing this?
We're celebrities DMing Dennis Rodman. So for context.
Yeah. Yes.
Eliot is not Dennis Rodman.
No.
But he also is. Like, neither of those two things are not wrong. It's not true.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Eliot helps with the Instagram.
I help with all the social platforms. So what Brandon and I do, we manage his digital rights. We create IP and kind of shows around that and then sell that to devices, to Netflix of the world, or if any brands want to sponsor it, we sell it to brands as well. It just increases relevance in society, I'd say. Create merchandise around that. His speaking engagements go up because his demand for him is higher, and it's just like the supply and demand.
Making him relevant.
Making him relevant. That's what we're doing, and taking on other clients as well as we go along. But yeah, I think the question you had was what was the thesis?
There was no thesis. I was trying to get. I was trying to.
People that asked you.
So people asked me.
Yeah.
And I what I would tell them is, oh no, it's all Dennis.
That's the funniest thing.
It's that, and that we've joked about a bunch as well. But a couple people I told that it was you who would know, or that it was worth telling.
Yeah.
And one of those people was somebody in Travis's crew.
Yeah.
And they were like, Travis was asking me the other day, how the hell does Dennis Rodman do these blank comments? Like, what's going on with Dennis Rodman?
You told me that before.
I saved it. So Travis.
You saved it. It's been like 4 months. It's been like 4 months. You're saying you knew you were on a podcast? You saved that shit. I'm going to start doing that shit. Oh yeah, by the way, Buster, this is chick. Her name's Kendall Jenner. She was asking about you, but I figured I'd save it for the podcast. I'm gonna start doing that shit.
And then I told him, this is my buddy Eliot. Here's his Instagram.
Funny, yeah. Was it busy?
No, it was Ashton.
Ashton, all right. Yeah, I think
Ashton Travis.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's my buddy Eliot.
Yeah.
And then I think he brought it back up. He was like, I know this dude who knows the dude that does the blank comments on Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's funny, man.
So here I am.
Those are the stories that are the funniest. when like you're involved in some way, but you don't know, and you bring it up, and it's just like
the funniest.
The funniest.
So a couple people have asked me.
Yeah.
Somebody at TED, it was like one of the 18-year-olds that there were like 3 18-year-olds that were there, and they're all like kids of people. But one of them asked me and was like, he's like, what's going on with Dennis Rodman? And I was just like, this dude, Eliot, man. Yeah. Like, I just thought that in my head. I didn't even.
Hey, for context, I don't want it's me, Brandon, Jake, Maddie, Dave, Jerry. We're a bunch of people doing it, but like I kind of laid out the whole digital strategy, and the comment thing was my idea. And then Jake was executing on it because obviously helping each other save time and stuff like that. But yeah,
and Maddie's the man as well.
Maddie's one of the most talented kids I know. Jake too. So the people believe what they want to believe. Right?
Yes.
Like people like who in the fucking right mind would think that he'd be on Instagram all day commenting. And you know what's funny? When I comment and I read back and people are like, oh, Dennis, dude, you spend too much time on social media. I kind of get offended. I'm like, don't you say that to Dennis? But I'm like, wait a minute. It's not me. Separate yourself from whoever you're working with.
That's all time.
Yeah. So that's the story.
And is Dennis Rodman leaving Instagram soon?
Yeah. So that's you. Should I tell the whole? How many people do you think are going to listen? I don't want to ruin the whole surprise of what that's going to be.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say.
You got to ask Dennis. I mean, if you see Dennis in the street, ask Dennis.
That's the funniest thing with the blank comment. Like he was like, "Who are these kids?" Before that, he didn't really. He knew who you were, but when those comments started taking off and people were walking up to him in the street, he was in Florida. He had 20 to 30 people walk up to him in the street and they like, yo, Dennis, how do you do this invisible comment? How do you do the blank comment? And he has no clue what it is. But he has Instagram on his iPad, but he uses 3 flip phones.
He has it on an iPad?
Yeah.
There are probably 4 other people in the world that have it on their iPad.
Oh, 100%. And it's weird because like you got to zoom in.
It's really weird.
It's really weird.
It's really weird.
He uses 3 flip phones on the daily.
Ooh, that's real.
Yeah, that's real. So he doesn't use an iPhone on the daily. So he can't be commenting on shit. My thesis is Dennis Rodman does not really understand social media, which make this even better because everything we do, we kind of run past him sort of, but not really. So it's just like it fills into his whole persona of like being this mystical guy.
It's the best.
So he had no clue what this blank comment was. So these kids are walking up to him, 12-year-olds. It's never really happened to him before because he has an older demographic that follows him. I know he is. So they're walking up. Dennis, how do I do this blank comment? He's like, all around the world, baby. We doing the blank comments all around the world, baby. And they're like, what? What the fuck are you talking?
He just doesn't understand.
He just doesn't understand. He knows nothing. So that's the funny story of like, yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Another one that you had told me before regarding Old Town Road.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite videos in the history of the internet is the video of Dennis Rodman on a horse. Yeah. And apparently he was already a big horse fan.
Big horse guy.
Like he's putting horses in his top 10 all time in history. So there was already footage of Dennis Rodman on horses.
In Florida,
then the song started popping and your team thought it was a fantastic idea.
So Dennis, he said when he was in the NBA, he's been struggling a lot with addictions and stuff. And that's a well-known fact. So when he was in the NBA and after, I think the fact he would use horses is like, he says they have some sort of a magical power and that they ground you and the horse knows how you feel. So when you're riding and taking care of the horse, it'll like make sure that you're emotionally, I'd say like leveling out.
That's kind of poetic.
It's I think it's animals and it goes back to like being the narrators of our lives. Dogs don't think like that, dude. You think dogs walk around thinking themselves, oh shit, I shouldn't have shit there. Oh, how's that dog looking at me?
They don't care, man.
They go. They're just here. They just really go and they're really present, truly. And I think that's why it's so important for people to have pets in a sense, whether it's a cat or whether it's a dog. Like I don't like cats, but dogs, I think that's why man's best friend, because they'll ground you. They're not judging you either. You think a dog judges you? They're like, hey, they're just super happy when you get home. They're happy when you feed him. As long as you take him out, like you're taking care of him, they're super happy. So anyways, back to the point, he uses, I'd say, horses maybe as a spiritual animal or something that grounds him. So we had been down in Florida kind of We went to the farm with him. He was riding that horse so we always said we need to do something with this horse video.
Yeah.
It was me, Maddie, and Brandon in Florida. Old Town Road drops. It's coming which by the way is a trap. Everyone who listens to it, if you don't know it, just look it up. I'm not going to explain it to you. You're not going to explain it to them.
No.
So we were like, I text Matt, my boy texts me. He's like, yo, Old Town Road is about to pop. I'm like, I know. I text Maddie and Jake. I'm like, our next viral video is going to be Old Town, Dennis on a horse with this song. I send the song Old Town Road, which we've been talking about for a while. I make actually 3 videos because I thought I was going to make the video and post it like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I make 3 videos as examples. I send it to Maddie and Jake. I'm like, this is what we got to have it look like this. Maddie has all the footage. I think he coordinates with Jake. Boom, boom, boom. He makes an even better video. Whereas like the whole distorted, like I had the distorted shit, but I just had pictures of him. I didn't have any of the footage. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. We post it.
Mm-hmm.
We post it because the song is going to fly. There's a song's about to fly. The song's number 6 on the iTunes Billboard. We post it. I say, Jake, comment on every single NBA post again. By the way, the strategy behind the NBA post is just like everyone who follows the NBA, since I got the NBA to follow Dennis as well. Mm-hmm. So everyone, and Dennis is verified.
As they should. Yeah.
As they should, right? They weren't before though. But the second they followed, now everyone who followed them would see his comment on the bottom. Yeah. That's why it became a thing.
The Instagram algorithm, for those that don't know, favors people that follow a certain page that they're commenting on.
And are verified and have a large following.
Well, the following is just that increases the people that see it first, and then that puts them up higher in the comments. Yep.
So I said, but we can't just do a normal text. Boom. Another idea. So Quinn, who we both know, shout out to Quinn, Wave, Best Celebrations, probably one of the funniest Instagram accounts.
My favorite meme account.
Probably, right?
Hands down.
After Dunk and Hoops Nation.
I wouldn't call us. We're like sports, whatever.
Yeah. So what he did was he started this shit thing called, go crazy, go stupid. Tiny text.
Yep.
This tiny
text gang.
Which maybe you throw it up on the screen here. It's essentially just small text.
What if the whole title was different. Tiny Text Gang?
What?
What? Small blank text around the world. Yep.
Exactly. That's Dennis. So yeah, we did that. He did it with I'll go crazy, I'll go stupid, and that went crazy. I was like, we need to do that with I got the horses in the back. Now all of a sudden Jake is commenting on every single NBA post. I got the horses in the back. People are fucking freaking out. How do you do that text? How do you know about horses in the back? And then everyone who clicks his profile, now all of a sudden the first video they see is I got the horses in the back, the video of distorted that we made for Dennis's page. So now all of a sudden that's going crazy. I'll bring up the statistics in a second, but that was kind of the strategy that we had for that. And after a couple of days, now Old Town Road had gone from number 6 on the chart to number 1. And I'm convinced that we at least played a part in 2 or 3 of those placements.
Question.
Yes.
Had Dennis heard the song?
Answer, no. He has now, and he loves it. But at the moment when we made the video, he had not heard the song. And I hope someone who knows Lil Nas X does not tell him this, but like, he thinks Dennis is his biggest fan. And I'm sorry, bro.
But he likes the song, so he
loves the song. But he's not commenting on all of his Instagram posts. That's us.
But he likes the song.
He loves the song.
That's what's important there.
He got 260,000 shares on Instagram.
Whoa.
3 million views on Twitter.
260,000 shares.
Yeah.
And
on 1.6 million.
I'm going to say that a third to a half of those were to group chats.
Yep.
Which then amplifies it by like 5, 6.
Yep. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yep. So yeah, that's the story behind that. 200,000 likes, 10,000 comments, whatever. Yep. So yeah, that's
NBD.
No big deal. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to get him in the Old Town Road music video that's being shot in 2 days.
So then he will be his biggest fan.
Yeah. The joke me and Buster was making was it would have been funny if we made it so that Dennis hadn't heard the song and was in the music video, which is going to be like the biggest music video of all time, probably.
Yeah. It's...
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun and saying shit that I shouldn't be saying, but I don't care. I'm authentic.
Kid Super.
Yep.
Explain this outfit Rate this outfit 1 through 10 in the comments. Just kidding.
Can they see the pants?
Maybe. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can.
Yeah.
If you're listening
on the podcast app,
if you're listening to the audio, he's wearing a Kid Super t-shirt. What brand are those pants?
Catnips. You know Catnips, right? Yeah, Catnips.
Catnips.
You know Catnips, right?
I've seen the Instagram.
Yeah, great guy. Harry Hambley, great guy. I love his art and everything he's doing. So I think, my friend Marcel put together an art event with him last summer. And I was just in a good mood, and I figured, why not buy the pants to support the art and the artists and my friend?
I've got a lightning round of questions for you.
All right, let's shoot. Are we done?
We're not done.
Okay, good. Because I just feel we need a little more structure, maybe.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started. Justin over here.
We've got
just like, I got a long day. Night ahead.
Justin's the best.
Sorry. Yeah.
At Shot Alive on Instagram.
Yep. Without a question. And I don't say this a lot. I say this every time. But the best pictures in New York City.
Agreed.
The best photographer in New York City. By far. The turnaround time, I'm not trying to jerk him out, but the turnaround time and the picture itself is just always better than anything else.
And he is the reason why this podcast looks so good. So thank you to Justin.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't.
Is cereal soup?
What?
Is cereal soup?
No. It's cold soup.
Okay. That's an interesting answer to that.
Yeah.
Is Popeye, do you know who Popeye is? Is he a superhero?
The guy with a...
Yeah. Would you call him a superhero?
No.
You wouldn't?
No. Would you?
Since he saves the day in every cartoon he's in, he's like a cartoon superhero.
Yeah.
But that's how, superheroes are from cartoons. Just physical forms.
Yeah, no, they're not real, Buster. I hate to break it to you. Superheroes aren't real. I'm saying... I'm saying as a cartoon, what's the difference between a cartoon? I guess Superman is
it's really comic. It's like comic. Yeah.
But is Popeye also a comic? Maybe maybe it is.
You can find out.
Yeah.
Is a Pop-Tart ravioli?
No.
Because the stuff on the inside kind of looks the same.
Nope.
It's just a... Next question?
Nope. Not at all.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
These are brain-stimulating questions. If the SAT was just a bunch of questions like this...
You would have fucking scored a 2,400?
Whatever it was, I would have gotten it. Is cheerleading a sport?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Are burgers... What says our burgers sandwiches? I feel like that one...
No, I mean, a sandwich is...
Between two pieces of bread.
But...
It's just different form.
No. That's not a sandwich to me.
Okay. Who would win in a fight? One 500-pound Eliot or 500 1-pound Eliots? Do you think the 500 would come together and strategize?
I mean, the problem is how big are they? Are
they're
they
one 500th
of
the size? Yeah.
Well, I'm 170 pounds.
No, it's a 500-pound you. So you're now...
But how big...
You've been scaled up to whatever the equivalent is to 170 at 500. And then you have 500.
So it's not just the same weight in the same body. It's it scales up.
Proportionally bigger.
Because that would have been interesting, right? 500 pound like this. Just I weigh way more. I'm just stronger like that. I think, yeah.
Well, you would look the same. You'd just be bigger.
I'd be fucking taking...
You'd be 12, 13 feet tall.
Yeah, that guy.
You take that guy over 500 little guys.
Put the little guys on the ground and just have Eliot fall on them. Now what?
It's a fair point.
That's a bloodbath. That's a red wedding if there's anything.
LA or New York? It's going to be hard to find the page again. LA or New York?
New Angeles. Los York. No, I think it's different. There's just a different vibe. I'd say New York, honestly, man. The problem is the summer in New York is disgusting when it comes to stickiness and sweatiness. And the winter in New York is also disgusting when it comes to the cold and the darkness.
So you want to spend more time here in the off seasons? Fall and spring?
Yeah.
Spring here is amazing. It's kind of what we're in right now.
The best.
And then fall's the same.
New York, spring and fall, and then LA summer. Actually, yeah, winter LA, then Sweden summer, and just traveling in summer.
You remember how we met, right?
Yeah.
Through who Eliot used to work for and I interned for briefly, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
I asked a question in on the Ask Gary V show, and Eliot was selecting the questions for the show. You were 18 at the time.
Yep. You're welcome.
You were my age at the time. I was like 15 maybe.
You was a baby. Can we get that question up here?
Probably. When I was researching for it, I found it.
You did?
And watched it.
You wrote the link down?
I wrote it down. That's one thing that notebooks are not good for.
Yeah, writing links down and images.
Back in the day, people used to do that.
Yeah. www.picnic. Yeah.
Like people would write down links and then like give it to somebody. Like, look this up.
Yep.
And they're right next to their typewriter. And then he said get in contact with Dunk. And like after a couple of days, we hopped on the phone or whatever.
Yep.
And then we ended up meeting up a few months later.
I ended up convincing Buster not to go to college. You remember that?
Definitely. I don't remember that.
You know?
When was this?
We had a phone call and you're like, yeah, I think I'm going into broadcasting at Syracuse. I was like, listen, dude, fuck it. Just like do your thing, bro.
I don't remember.
You're way too talented. You're like, oh, really? Yeah.
I believe that. That's probably what my response would have been.
Bro, I'll find the fucking phone call if I have it.
What is that?
I don't know. I probably filmed it on my lost hard drive.
I was about to joke and I was like, that wouldn't be right.
Yeah. It was after we met for burgers.
I remember after I took the PACT.
Yeah.
Practice
and
ACT.
then you're fucking, I was like, I'm not talking to this guy ever again.
It. Probably got like, I did really bad on it.
Yeah.
Really bad.
And then we would call each other like once every other week, maybe once a month. And there was this one time you're like, yeah, I'm just figuring out what to do with college. And you just started getting on Instagram, posting more.
I wasn't, when we had first met.
You had nothing.
I had literally nothing.
You did Facebook. And then you started doing Instagram more and more. I remember you had 30K, but you posted so frequently. I was like, this kid, there's something about this kid.
I was posting like 30, 40 times a day.
And then you were like, I'm just trying to figure out how to do broadcast. I was like, just don't do that. I'm just like, don't do it. Why? Like, yeah, I'm gonna, and he's like, yeah, maybe not, man. I was like, just figure it out. You'll know what to do, but just for me, just no.
And then I ended up interning at Vayner.
But we weren't close when you were doing that.
No, we weren't.
Because I was working a lot.
And you were away. I remember like 2/3 of the time that I was there. You're only there for like a week Sweden, crossover.
Right? Yep. But the people loved you, I remember. It's like, Buster, he's so and you were just doing like spreadsheets.
I was doing like spreadsheets.
I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, why aren't you using it to like grow your clients?
I pull up and I'm so ready to work. Yeah. Like,
you thought you were like working with Gary and like, not really, but like you were like excited.
That's what the assumption is for a lot of like young people that work there. But I pull up, I'm ready to rock and roll, and they hand me a spreadsheet, and I'm like, I don't know, what is this? Like, I know how to comment on Instagram.
You've never seen a spreadsheet? You're like, what, Excel? What's the Excel?
I didn't have it on my computer. I had to borrow one of the Vayner computers. Yeah. And then like figure it out. And I remember I didn't like know how to add it up, so I was like on my phone adding them up.
That's the definition.
And then I told them, and they were like, "Oh no, it's not going to be accurate." I'm like, "It's close enough."
Yeah, it's close enough. It's like, no, there's reports.
It's like, no, you got to get it right. And I'm like, all right, how do I do it?
Yeah, and then you learn. Have you ever used that skill?
Nope, not once.
Nope, right?
Not once.
Yep.
Nor have I really done anything that I learned before the age of like 16, apart from like
talking to
basic.
People.
You know what's crazy that I thought about the other day? I learned, and I feel like most schools teach cursive before they teach typing.
Yeah. To teach what?
Cursive writing, handwriting, before they teach how to type.
What, on a computer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that not crazy?
No.
Have you ever written in cursive?
Yeah, every day.
Really?
Dude, look, I mean, for better or for worse, look at my textbook. Like, it's a mix between cursive and normal. It's weird.
He just has, I got the horses in the back written 400 times over. What are you doing?
Psychotic. I got the what?
Yeah. For those listening to the audio, he just handed me his notebook, and that's all. He only had those words written inside.
That was the joke, right?
That was the joke.
Yep.
But at the end of this podcast, we actually do an audio exclusive now.
Yes, Logan Paul. Right?
We get people over to the top.
So smart.
Get people over.
So smart.
So that's where we're going to be getting into. I
like that.
We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
At the end of this podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
We're gonna have a 500-pound Eliot versus 501-pound Eliots. Just fight it out.
Yeah.
In the audio only version. But before we get to that,
yep. What do you? I love talking to people, man. I feel like you
like talking to high energy people. You don't like talking to bad energy people.
Yeah.
That's what I've realized over the last year. Like that's the only thing that matters in life. Like if you spend all your time around high energy people,
you're just gonna win.
You're just gonna win. Like it doesn't matter what you do. You could be a school teacher. Like you'll become the head of your department. Like you will just win.
Yeah.
And if you're around low energy people, you will lose.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. So you like talking to me or what?
You'll find out in the 5-minute audio exclusive at the end of this podcast.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So so that's how we met.
Yep.
We went through that, and then we took really the first time we spent a bunch of time together. And I had like stayed at your apartment when you were living in Manhattan.
Yeah.
A couple school nights, and I would like.
I was trying to employ Buster. That was not a smart move. Like I was trying to get him to do. We were trying to do shit together. And it was like this
team dunk.
Yeah, team dunk. It was good.
We did some stuff.
Listen, first thing, if the shit that you know and the ideas that you have, if you actually execute on them properly, you're going to become a fucking billionaire. But in our case, we didn't do it.
Right.
We had the idea of overtime, slam, barstool, everything combined before anyone. It was just, we're kids. Like, what are we going to do? We don't have $200 million to spend.
We didn't even think about venture.
No.
Nor could.
That's not true. Dude,
you thought about it?
I raised $500K from this basketball player story I've never told before. Flew to Houston in 2017 for dunk to be able to wave TV. What they do, they raise money, they bought accounts, they employ said kids, and they tried to create original content around the accounts.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the idea what that was? That's what I was going to do. But build the personalities.
Like 2017, 2018?
2016,
Damn.
No, not 2016. That's one. Mid 2017.
So did you raise money?
$500,000 I had. A letter of intent. Never followed through on it. The guy who's going to invest just went silent. I flew to Houston. Several discussions. Flew to Houston. It was a line of credit, which anyone who's watching this essentially means they lend you $500,000 or $1 million or however much it is, and then you pay it back off of an interest. But the whole structure of the deal was he took a line of credit of like, I think he had like $5 million that he was allocating towards different businesses, and everyone who he invested in, meaning everyone who he gave an open bank of $500,000, they would start helping each other. So there was this app company that was going to help build an app for us. Mm-hmm. I was going to help them with a marketing strategy. And then there was this other a product company who like produced merchandise, and they were going to help produce merchandise for free in exchange of helping each other. So essentially you're growing this ecosystem of different companies who all have money funded by the same person. Mm-hmm. And they all help each other around.
Okay.
To help increase everyone's revenue streams. Regardless, it never happened, and it was just a pain in the ass. Like, as an 18-year-old, raising money is just not fun. Bro, I'll tell you some stories about that. But regardless, back to the matter of the fact how we met.
So we were messing around with this team dunk concept, combining a bunch of different accounts.
Buster's just a wild spirit. Don't try and get wild spirits to like. Well, you should always collaborate with him. You should never like try to.
And so we were messing around, but we did a little bit of traveling. Yeah. And one of my favorite trips all time is like the All-Star game every year. What the NBA tries to do is they try to it's usually on and off, but they put it in small cities that can, reap the benefits of having in those cities, like Charlotte was this year, and Cleveland will be in a couple years. But then they'll also have it in like the Torontos and the New Yorks.
Yep. This year.
LA was the epitome of all of that. Yep. It doesn't get any bigger than LA. It's Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the anticipation of LeBron coming and everything. This was last year. So I was still in high school at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if I've told you this. I probably did. I was 17.
17?
So I had to get signatures from every teacher to skip a week and a half of school.
Didn't I have to write like an email to you of like your internship? That was maybe something else.
That was probably something else.
That was something else.
But this I had to get signatures from every teacher. And like, just imagine me explaining to these teachers that already didn't like me because I wasn't a good student. Like,
but they liked you because you brought them apples or shit, right? Didn't you do something like that?
All the time, stuff like that.
You said something smart the first time we met. You said you'd research interesting topics and send them to teachers.
That's a really good recall. Yeah, I would like look up. So if a teacher would mention something, I'd like look up and then like email them links on like videos that they're interested in. Yeah, and then I was in.
I remember doing that for like one time to my entire contact list. I was like, this takes too long. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah. So I would like if I needed to, like once a week maybe. And if I saw stuff just on YouTube in general, I'd take the 15 seconds it literally took to put that email in a link. Thought you would like this.
It's super smart.
In the subject line.
If you just come across it.
Yeah. So for everybody like that's in school right now, you should do that for every single one of your teachers. Yeah. Like you should find stuff they're interested in and then send it to them. Like, yeah. Don't just like click the first link. Yeah, like actually, it's like if your teacher's into like neuroscience or whatever, look for like a deep, cool like TED talk that you found on
and that you watch and enjoy, so you can actually have conversation about it.
You better actually know what it is. Take the 3 minutes to watch the video.
You send it to them, they get it. They're like, oh yeah, I really like that point he made about XYZ. You're like, yeah, me too.
That was me in every presentation, by the way. But yes. Yeah. So point is, I went out and got signatures from every teacher, and then Eliot and I went to LA for the All-Star game. And stayed with the legends, Fenwick.
And Ryan. No, Ryan and Akil. Yeah, Fenwick and Wade. Who you didn't know it. That was the first time meeting.
That was the funniest thing ever.
We crashed on their sofa in Hollywood.
But one of my favorite stories, which has to be told, because we've never told this on video. We've spoken about telling this on video more times by an infinite number than we've told this on video.
Yeah.
Do you remember how that night started? Do you remember how that night started?
No clue. There's zero clue. Do you?
I don't. But
I just remember we're in the apartment in Hollywood scheduling out because
it was event. The entire
that was the thing, and we were trying to figure out, being like stressing. Oh, well, should we go to this event or this event?
And then we would each go to one, and then
we'd each go to one event. Buster would go to one with Gary Payton, the glove, like an interview from Slam, and then he'd go to an Adidas party with James Harden. Meanwhile, I'd be at some other. I don't even remember where I went because I was probably getting fucked up, but. The point of the matter and the meat of the gist is
the meat of the gist.
We came to this one event, which was an Adidas exclusive event. I think it was the second or third day we were there. It was probably one of the.
All I know is that it couldn't have been Saturday. It couldn't have been. I think it was a Friday night because Donovan was there and he won the dunk contest.
The next day or that day?
The next day, not that day.
Yes. So. We get here on Friday night. My boy tells us to pull up. I don't know who it was who told us to get. Was it like Jack
Austin?
Austin. No, Austin was there. There was someone in there. It might have been Mark. Oh, it was probably Marcus Damas.
Bing?
Yeah, it was Bing. Barry. It was Barry. Yes. So Barry, who runs this clothing brand by Bing, being as Love Me Before You All Do, hoodie, super cool brand. He made us both custom jackets as well. He told us to pull up because there was this event, an Adidas event that he was at with Marcus, who's super close with Tobias Harris and a lot of other basketball players. Me and Bus like, all right, cool. Like everyone's going to be there. It was highly anticipated. We get there. It looks like trouble. The second there's a line. People are saying their name at the list. I know for a fact we're not on the list because Barry said, hit me when you're there. You're not on the. I couldn't get you on the list, but we'll figure it out. I was like, uh-oh. I got that in the Uber on the way there. I didn't tell Buster shit. I was like, yeah, it's going to be a great party.
Probably better that way.
We pulled up. Buster's wearing a pair of sweatpants. Buster's wearing Nike shoes and like a hoodie. And like, we're like...
No, I was wearing a t-shirt.
A t-shirt. Like oversized t-shirt. Like not dressed. I was wearing, I don't even remember, like jeans, maybe a t-shirt and some shoes. Not dressed up either. But Buster was like, it
was really bad.
It was pretty bad.
Like it was how I would dress to like a high school class I didn't care about.
Exactly. So we pull up to this party, which isn't a high school class.
No.
All people outside, everyone's wearing tuxedos and 3-piece suits and dresses.
And there are red carpets.
And there are red carpets. And we're like, this is not going to go well. I was like, don't worry. I got this. Go up to the door. What's up? We're here. We're covering the event. Eliot and Buster Scher, you can just let us in. He's like, and I start walking in. He's like, wait. He's like, got to check the lists. We're like, no. We're covering the event. He checks the list. He's like, sorry, buddy, you're not here. You're not getting in. I'm like, yeah, but our contact. And I say someone's name. He's like, he's in there. Like, she's like, all right, well, we're at capacity, dude. That's what they say when they're like, fuck off. Like, we're at capacity. You're not getting in.
And then you see like 10 people go by.
You see this guy and 3 girls just walking. I'm like, yeah. I thought you were at capacity. And someone was performing. Who was performing? There was someone inside performing. It wasn't Travis Scott. It was like,
I didn't know there was a performance.
There was a performance in there. It wasn't Travis Scott, but it was that kind of level. It was like Travis Scott, but 2 years ago.
Maybe it was like, yeah.
I'm like, all right, shit. There's one entrance to the left, one back where everyone left to the right. I'm like, what if we can just sneak in? I text Barry. I'm like, yo, they're not letting us in. He's like, I'm coming out. Don't worry. He comes in. He talks to the guard. He's like giving him all this schmooze. And Barry's a very energetic person. Not like high energy, but he's calm, collected.
Good energy.
Good, like, you know those people who like talk to guards every time you walk into a club?
Yeah.
And they're like, and the guards connect with him. He has that kind of aura around him. So he talks to the guard.
Skill.
Very good skill that I don't think you can. I think it's something you're just born with.
Yeah, you can't learn that.
You can't. It's just
you could be around and like pick up little things, but that's about it.
Yeah. So he's saying that to the guard. The guard's like on the fence of letting us in, right? Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, it's a 21 and plus event. I was 19. No, I was 20. Buster's 17.
Yeah.
It looks like he's 15. You look very young.
Yeah, I had 0 facial hair.
You literally look like a high school student because you wear. Fair enough, right?
Can't deny it.
So we're walking in. Barry's like, all right, I got you guys. Is this, am I on the correct path?
100%.
We start walking in. We pass one guard. We're like, yes. There's a first entrance. We're going in through the back. As we're walking in, the second guard's like, hey, you guys. Saying, as meaning me and Buster. Barry's already in. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, Buster, just keep walking. Buster keeps walking. Yo. Right then and there, Donovan Mitchell comes out. I'm like, this is our only shot. Yo, Donovan, bro. Yo, this is Dunk from Instagram because he followed the account. Yo, just like good luck on the competition tomorrow. He's like, oh, hell yeah, man. Thank you, bro. Like, yeah, enjoy the party. He says or something. Buster's like, hey, what's up, man? We're from Dunk. You and I look back at the guard. He's like, who let you in here? I'm like, nah, bro, you don't get it. We're covering the event. He's like, you can't walk in like that. He says, because Buster's in sweats and Nikes.
Which you can never do at an opposite.
At all. It's like, I was like, and I talked, you remember me saying, I talked to him, I was like, yeah, bro, listen, I'm in fashion. Like, I get it. Like, we shouldn't be wearing sweats. Like, but listen, this is my boy. We're covering the event. Like, we're just here to have a good time. He's like, you got IDs? I'm like, bro, like, just let it go. Like, we're here with fucking, and I just say someone's name. Like, I don't want any trouble, but like, I'm gonna have to grab him. He's like, all right, bro, you got it. Boom. We walk in. We're like, ooh, Buster's inside, clueless. He's like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
James Harden
walks by us.
Damian Lillard
walks dancing on the dance floor in a 3-piece gray suit. Kelly Oubre. Buster daps Kelly Oubre up. Like, yo, what's up, Kelly? We're from Dunk, Hoops Nation. If you ever need anything, just let us know. Lowry. We got you. Boom. Next person, Kyle Lowry. Another account that we have at the Hoop Films. What's up, Kyle Lowry? You follow our account, the Hoops Films. If you ever need anything, let us know. Boom, boom. Buster basically, I think, talks to half the players there. And like, it's just a great time. So that's the story. Buster's getting a little, like, Buster does not drink often at all, right?
Feel like very I seldom. Can count the amount of times.
That was one of the times you were drinking.
I had 1 drink.
You had 2 drinks.
Really?
Sure. For sure, I was noticing on your mood that you were drunk. Not drunk, but you were getting it.
I can't comment on that.
And we're just surrounded by all these people in freaking suits. Maybe. And we're here in sweats, a t-shirt, 17 years old.
And everybody was coming up to us being like, wow, the fashion, it's amazing. And we'd be like, yeah, what up? We're from Vogue.
Yes, we said something like that.
But we have a photo.
Yeah,
we have one photo from it. We have a couple of videos because Cassie Athena, the legendary photographer, she's probably number one right now.
Yep.
As far as basketball photographers, let alone NBA.
Yep.
And she was there, and that was the first time I had met her. Was that the first time you had met her in person?
100%.
So first time we met her in person, and she was just like, let me get some photos. So we have this photo.
And there's ice cream there, remember?
Which you can try to go back.
Oh, no. The funniest thing was the shirt you were wearing. It said, in and get the fuck out burger. Remember?
I forgot about that. I thought I was wearing a Dunk shirt.
No. So here, how do I show the...
So for anybody watching, you can see Eliot's trying to hold it up.
Yep.
And you can also go back on either of our profiles because we both posted it. Or if you're listening to the audio, you can just go to our profiles, try to find it. But we have this photo of us to kind of back up the story here.
Yep. So that's the story. I'm so happy we finally told it.
It's out there.
What did I miss anything? Like, I feel like there's like some added factor that we probably missed, but
yeah, I mean Chandler Parsons. There were just a ton of guys there. Yeah. We spent a while there.
Yep. Probably 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, probably a couple hours. I definitely had a drink. I remember because I remember we were both at the bar, or whatever. And I I can literally count the amount of times. Like it's funny because I know when each of them were, and they all had to be a situation like that to make sense. Yeah, because you had to like walk around with a drink in your hand if you're like with the NBA, like whatever. And Ellie was like, yo, Kyle's over there. Go talk to him. I was like, all right. Okay. Whoop. It's like what I do now is just like drink like a Red Bull or whatever. Yeah. But like, you know, it was funny.
That was definitely a moment. Like, you know how like you have moments in life where you're like, I'm happy I did that. I'm happy that was definitely one of them.
That was funny. I'm glad that happened. Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of what the other highlights of that All-Star week were.
You had the interview with Gary Payton. You were in the James Harden and Travis. Wasn't there like a concert?
There was it was Rick Ross.
Yeah,
Rick Ross.
There was another instance
a week before he went through some medical issues. I remember it was one of those moments where I was like, wow,
shit.
But
wasn't there a fucking Travis concert? Something.
There must have been something.
Like, wasn't Nipsey? There was someone, and you were like right by Harden.
Oh no, that was a basketball. That was like a game, an overtime, and a bunch of other slam. They were all playing against each other, and then there was also like the celebrity where I knew Scal because we'd hosted all these shows, so like, I knew them through that.
But there's one other thing from that weekend I remember.
But then James was right there.
Do you remember
what?
When we tried to get into the Adidas, we're gonna get into Adidas festival.
Oh yeah, what were we thinking?
I have no clue.
What? I might have.
Remember that?
I remember that 100%.
We met Lethal Shooter.
And everybody's like, stay logged in. Everybody, for anyone that doesn't know Lethal Shooter, he's an awesome NBA trainer and a friend of both of ours. But people, when they're driving past in their cars and see him, one of his phrases used to be, I don't know if it is as much anymore, but it's like, stay locked in. So everybody's like yelling out there, stay logged in. He's like, yeah.
It's funny.
But we just thought it was a good idea to try to get into this event that we had no access for and whatnot.
We got in.
So we literally got in.
That's another. We were just fucking buzzing from the day before. We're like, we can do anything. We just got.
We felt like Popeye.
We did. So what we did was we walked through the garage. We just talked to these security guards, and I remember I was like, let's just sneak through here, and we just snuck through this thing. We're pretending. They're like, excuse me. I was like, no, we're covering the event. We're with Dunk. Excuse me. We just kept walking, and then we were in, and then there was just two people that were like, where are your bands? Like, where are your credentials? We're like, we didn't get any. We're with Dunk. And they're like, no. We're like, oh, fuck. And they just like got us out of there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
And then we met Lethal Shooter.
Yeah, that's when after that we met Lethal Shooter.
That was hilarious.
Dude, there's another moment. Skid Row.
Which Dennis Rodman recently talked about.
You started laughing, right?
I started laughing so hard. I didn't know what direction that was going in. Yeah. But then the second I heard, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah. So essentially that story is we're at the Staples Center covering, I think, like the All-Star pregame warm-ups or something. Or trying
whatever
to,
it is, yeah.
And then there was a party in, I think, the Fashion District, it's called, or something. There was a district that was like a mile and a half away. It was beautiful. It was in February, March, maybe.
Yeah, All-Stars in February, so end of February.
New York's disgusting cold.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen sun in 6 months.
So we decided to walk
to
we were
this
event.
It's nice outside, let's walk. We start walking. And there's a lot, homelessness is a big problem in LA, like more than New York, probably. We start walking more, and just like more and more homeless people. It's the area's just getting worse and worse. And Buster's like, yo, I don't know if we should be walking. I'm like, Buster, come on, bro. Like, you're from Connecticut, Westport, wherever you're. Like, this, I'm from Sweet. Like, this happens. Like, there's areas that are bad. We'll just walk through it. We'll keep walking. Dude, the ratio of streets to tents and the amount of like the tightness of how many.
It was intense.
It got intenser and more intense. So it started off being a tent every 30 feet to tent every 20 feet. Every 10 feet, all of a sudden, there were these tents in the middle of the road. Barely any cars were driving. There's tents all over the sidewalks. We're walking. It's filled with homeless people. It's called Skid Row in Los Angeles.
It's pretty famous, yeah.
Probably like the capital of homelessness, right? Buzz just starting to fucking bug out because people are walking up to us asking, do you want drugs? Do you want girls? They're asking us if we want fucking everything. Buster's like, Eliot, we gotta turn. Yo, let's turn in here. I'm like, bro, Buster, if we turn into one of these side alleys, I'm sorry, bro. I don't think you're seeing your family in Connecticut anytime soon. He's like, I just look straight and just walk.
I remember you said that. You're like, just look straight.
And he's like, all right. Just starts walking straight. So
starts walking like an army van.
Quicker and quicker and quicker. We start walking. And then we get a text from Dan Porter, who's
CEO of Overtime.
CEO of Overtime, a $200 million company or whatever they're worth. He says, yo, why did I just drive past Skid Row and see Buster and Eliot walking in the middle of all these homeless people?
And at that time, I hosted a show for them as well.
And he's like, I'm like, yo, we just did a mistake. Why didn't you fucking pick us up? He's like, I didn't know it was you. And we're going to the same event, this Nike event. And then we get out of there and Buster's like, I thought I was going to die. I was like, Buster, I'm not going to lie. I wanted to keep it cool and keep my composure, but so did I, bro. Like, so did I.
That was all time.
It was all time. And then anyways, we've just had this ongoing joke ever since, Buster, me, and Dan, of like, Buster should host a show on Skid Row, yada, yada, yada. It's just a funny story of how Buster almost died on Skid Row. That was probably all-time story moment.
That was all time.
Yeah.
It was just how many different facets there were to it. Then like you have the surprise factor and you have like the shock and the danger. And then you have like us getting out okay. And then like, we'll never do it again. We learn from it.
Such a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster story. And those are the best.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. And then we've, that was a funny week.
That was all in one weekend, by the way.
Yeah, that was that was a fun week.
Yeah.
All-Stars, literally my favorite week of the year every year.
Yep.
And I remember it was funny. So the one time you asked me to come through the podcast, that Dennis Rodman is a podcast as well.
Yeah.
And it was right after All-Stars. So you mentioned to him that I had been to All-Stars. He was like, oh, I was All-Star, man.
I was All-Star, man.
And then I was like, it was good. It wasn't that condensed. Yeah. It was fun. Nothing like LA last year though. And he was like, it was like LA, man. Crazy.
A lot of bitches right there. Right?
I was like, LA was crazy last year though. LA and I went together, obviously.
This guy, right?
And then he's like, oh man, LA.
You make him sound like an old 70-year-old.
LA man, all the bitches come out for that.
You're like, yep, I mean, pretty much, right?
I was like, all right. And I was like, but you know where it is next year, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, where's it next year? And I'm like, it's in Chicago. It's in Chicago. Oh, I'm going to pull up to that.
Yeah, pull up to that. That's mad funny. Yeah.
Dennis is the best though.
Yep.
Like one of the nicest, like he's very, like he's free.
Misunderstood.
He's like free as well, like free high energy.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say high energy, more like good energy, but like somewhere between good and high. Obviously, you know much better, but There are like lots of different types of like energy on the scale.
Yeah.
And like, that's how you can tell if you're going to like, how much you're going to like somebody.
What's the,
and how like compatible.
Yeah.
I think like from an element standpoint, like low energy would be like, I don't know. I think there are a lot of like general characteristics, like how funny somebody is, how like intelligent they are, like how engaged they are, how much they care, whether they're like, they do drugs consistently. Like there are all these factors that attribute to somebody being like extremely low energy. Yeah. And then like the opposite of all those things would create being super high energy. And just like, if you have like connection to a certain person, like I'm going to be much higher energy with somebody like you rather than like if somebody like comes up to me, like, you know, it's very different.
It's very toxic in the best way.
Yes.
It goes both ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think like that scale and then everything in between is how much, and I think high energy people aren't good for people that are like middle energy. You need to find other people that are the same energy, same like wavelength as you.
I wonder how many times we've mentioned that word, this podcast. Someone count it and send it to both of us. Energy.
Yeah. We'll send you a t-shirt.
I like that.
Good energy. Except like, when you talk about it, like it doesn't sound. When you actually talk about it like this, it sounds great, and like it makes perfect sense.
Well, when you put
it on paper or t-shirt, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah,
what the hell is this person doing? But it is important. And that's probably like if I could go back like a year or 2 years ago and tell myself something, and I'm curious what it would be for you. But for me, it would just be like, it's like literally, money doesn't matter. It's like how many followers and views doesn't matter, because all that will come with the surrounding of good energy. Yep. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing 3 years ago, what would it be?
I agree with everything you said, by the way. 3 years ago or 2 years ago?
2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Are we factoring?
14 years ago. If you told a baby version.
Are we factoring like where
give him
we
a
were?
Jason Tatum jersey.
Are we factoring like where we were, or like we're just
sure, all factors. Apart from like investing in Bitcoin and like crazy stuff like that.
Put your money in Bitcoin.
Gets it all stolen.
I would say what we went back to them, just like trust yourself, like just trust yourself more, you know, like not even believe in yourself more, but just like allow yourself to be honest with yourself more. Cause I think we waste a lot of time not being honest with ourselves. And it's one of the things that's easiest to get caught up in cycles, and like all the dumb shit. Like don't worry about shit you worry about. Is just like look back at last week, something you were bugging out about. And
so stupid.
And then you just factor in how much is that actually, how much that event. So this is, I think everyone always says, don't worry about stuff. It doesn't matter. Cool. All right. Let's take it one step further. Look at, even if you worry about it and you achieved said thing, like how worth was your energy or stress spent on that? You know, like look at, even if you achieved recording 8 podcasts last week, but you're stressing all week, and you're spending all this time.
Yeah.
And how worth was it for you to do that? Versus, you know, not stressing, maybe getting 4 done, maybe getting 2 done.
They're higher quality, whatever.
Just like you're higher quality.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if it's the same way for you, but like even like now, especially right after moving in the city, like from like living with family and whatnot to living solo, like I feel every week I learned so much. Even now, I feel like every week is just a totally different. And that, like, I'm curious if that's the same for you. I'm sure, like, to whatever facet, and how you characterize it to yourself. But I think that's important.
What do you feel you're learning? Is it more like I feel like for you, it's more like you understand all the social and business stuff, but I feel like what you're learning now is way more relationships, right? Because you're in Connecticut. You're not blocked off from the world, but now all of a sudden you're reaching different tiers of relationships, whether it's professional athletes or whether it's rappers or whether it's business people. Is it that you're learning how to foster those more, or is it what do you learn? A
lot of it's like broadening horizon. So like real quickly, like the last week I spent in Vancouver and at this conference with 2,000 people, not a single person, it's called TED. And not a single person, I'm sure you like heard of TED Talks or whatever. And that's like the main version of it. And not a single person there was into sports.
Right.
It was the most interesting thing because every conversation I had, and like even like apart from like, social, here's what I do, and social in what regard?
Well, like what was the conversation that you're having?
Like I met, you know, former Vice President Al Gore, like, you know, people like that. Like, you know, Jack Dorsey spoke, and Sergey Brin, who founded Google, was just like walking around. And like people like that where it's very different than like the NBA player like scene. So, and like people that handle like government's money and help allocate investment and other like those types of people. I got to chop it up with a little bit.
Yeah. What do you chop it up with them about? Is it about sports? Is it's
usually like
lowest common denominator?
I mean, usually with people there, it's like, what do you do? Here, I do this. What do you do? And then they go through it. And then you leave each conversation with like a broader horizon on like some odd thing.
How they think about stuff.
There was a woman who escaped North Korea at a very young age and came and spoke. And there's another woman who is
from North Korea, you're saying?
From North Korea to South Korea.
Damn.
And there's another, and she's like fine now, but she was talking about how like they were so closed off from everything.
Yeah.
She had to learn, and this is the craziest thing. So when she left North Korea and she was in South Korea, she had to learn that Kim Jong-un was fat. Like it wasn't even a thought. Like he's God. Like nobody even knows. They see dead people on the streets and they have no feeling because they're not taught. They're not taught to feel. They don't have internet. They don't have access to anything.
That's interesting.
It's darker than the worst places in like
that's interesting.
Other countries that don't have like access to health. Like it's these aren't people.
They're people. They're just not
scientific experiment people in a weird, perverse way. But there's like this other woman who spoke that I loved who who made a documentary about these women in it's called honor killings in India, where you kill somebody, kill a young girl for entering a relationship with somebody that wasn't chosen by the dad, and you kill it, and then everybody applauds it. So this woman made a documentary about a girl that lived and then went around in a van around all these little towns in India and showed all the men that documentary to try to provoke.
What was the documentary about?
About how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Like, and the outside world responding,
don't get it.
But they did. They got it. It was framed in such a way.
So she made a documentary about
she made a documentary about it and how a much healthier community empowers women and how that will come back to them in positive ways for everybody. And she made all the men watch it outside. And then they had this trailer where all the women could watch it inside, protected. And she went around, all of India and did that. And, like this other dude it's just all people like that. It's just like 1,000 of these different.
But you're expanding your
exactly
your everyday circle or knowledge or whatever you want to call it. It's just like you're touching it.
There's literally no business benefit. None. Zero.
Yeah. I like that.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I like that.
But then you're more level with everything.
Yeah.
Because you're very anything can happen.
Yeah. I like that.
Because it's like expand, once you have the best thing you can do is expand your perspective.
Yeah.
And then stuff like that, is good. Like people that are going to space and people that are going to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah. And it's why are each doing which? And it's people that are building these floating habitats because the ocean's waters are rising and how 25 cents can cure a whole village of this worm disease and $2 can clean a football field of trash in the ocean.
Stuff you just don't think about on an everyday basis because you're so caught up in your own.
Yeah, so that's why I posted Ted was better than Coachella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aha. The Drake meme, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
Drake meme. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing I've learned over the last year.
Cool. Yeah. I love that.
What else? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 5-minute audio exclusive.
Is that it?
For the main part.
Okay, cool. I'm down to jam. How long is this recording? How long was the one with the...
An hour and a half. Ladies and gentlemen.
No, I can't give up.
We're going to talk about one more thing, then we're going to go to the audio.
I got to beat Daniel Got Hits.
We're going to talk about one more thing, then we're going to jump to the audio exclusive.
Yep. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
This is your podcast, man.
So they can't see the wall.
Okay.
But there are a bunch of historical figures, legends, got LeBron on the wall, Biggie. If you could work with any athlete in the world,
right now,
living or dead, Who would it be? In the same capacity that you work with Rodman.
That's
really?
an easy one. Super easy.
What would you do?
What I'd do?
What would you do with Wilt?
I'd make him I'd document everything, make him the most famous person in the world. He just is such a mystical person, and all the stories of him.
Of course.
Bench pressing 400, 500 pounds, whatever it is, like all this crazy stuff that people just didn't believe. But there's so many stories about him that just, I feel like half of the shit's got to be real.
Yeah.
Probably. What about you?
10,000 women.
Yeah, 10,000 women. That, I don't think is true, but probably
5,000?
Yeah, I'd say.
NBD. No big deal.
No big deal.
For me, it'd probably be, from like a Knicks fan perspective, it'd always be like the biggest player in the Knicks, but that's just like from a personal standpoint, maybe.
Bernard King, like who?
But they never did. Like, there's no like hurrah at the end, unfortunately, because it's the Knicks.
Yeah.
But they're gonna win in 2020, and you'll be able to watch this in 2 years and be like, "Yep, you got it."
Yeah.
But,
leave a comment on Buster's page if that happens. Put a reminder on your calendar, in like 2020 after the finals to comment.
I say it pretty much every day though, so there's no like. It's not like I said at one point that I'm gonna pull back the video. Just like.
But these people are going to put a reminder now.
Because like the funny thing is like too, like I think this is interesting from like a personal brand standpoint. If you attach yourself to one thing that everybody knows, even if everybody's not talking about it, when that one thing is the center of attention,
it's you.
It's you.
Yeah.
And that's how like I feel about like
the Knicks.
Where I'm positioning myself with like trying to with the Knicks online. It's like everything. When they suck.
Yep.
Like I'm the only person that's going to be posting these memes about how great they are when they're the worst.
Yep.
And then when they're the best and everybody else jumps on the bandwagon, the people that were there before are going to benefit the most from it.
Where do you see Hoops Nation going and what you're doing with that? Like, where do you want to take that?
Continue to like develop it out. And once I can get to a point where like, I'm literally not doing anything on it apart from like overall, like
vision.
Yeah. Then that's great. Cause like where I really see like my time going is to like personal brand projects like this. There's like pretty much being able to do like, I see it very clearly too. It's just about like executing on it. It's like, I want to.
When you say you see it, what do you mean? Like I'll
explain exactly. Well, I have, but written it out and then notifications come up at the top. It's just like a bunch of
pages.
I'll try to explain it though. Being able to do whatever you want to do on a given day and then justify it by how many people are going to watch the documentation of that thing.
Yeah, I like that. So like you're like, fuck it, I want
to go scuba diving in the Caribbean, and I can justify it.
Sort of like what Mr. Beast is doing, right?
Except he's very much in the algorithm of it. Like he does things for the algorithm. I would do things for me and then try to make it like I would do things for me because I think it would both be good. Like I would have fun, people around me would have fun, and like I'd go with I'd do like ones with a bunch of friends and like we're at this big house and then justify.
Are we going on vacation this
We have to. We have to. But
the Hoops Nation,
being able to like justify it through whatever, whatever is, and then make videos out of it and document the whole thing and then put it on all the different platforms and like build a personal brand.
How do you think you're going
and
there?
Broadcast the games by just doing more
of it?
Like, broadcasting these NBA games is a great step, and like doing these NBA shows is a great step, and doing this podcast is an interesting step. Like having these long conversations with people that wouldn't exist outside of a podcast infrastructure.
Yeah.
So like developing all of that out as well as like continuing the basketball stuff. Like that's
interesting. That's what I guess.
Like, and that's why my answer before to the question that I asked you, and then I guess somehow answered it myself, but that's why it was the way it is. Just like, always adjusting because it wasn't that 2 months ago, but it is that now. And I'm sure it'll be somewhat different in 2 months, but constantly changing, but want to do the biggest version of whatever I'm doing at that moment because it's panned out to that.
So currently you're hosting, is that the biggest thing you'd say, the NBA shows, like in terms of a platform that's potential? Obviously, it's the NBA.
Yeah, I mean,
you're hosting NBA. It's got the biggest potential, I feel, right now of like, what if you're all of a sudden doing it on their Instagram Live every day or their Facebook Live? Because now it's Twitch, which isn't it's not getting millions.
It will in like 3 years, but unfortunately, it's right now. And
then you have the games, which are getting like, I don't know how many, maybe thousands of people. They're not tuning in. They're using it as an experiment. There are new. Do you feel as if you have the potential and you think you're going to get to a point where you're like,
it's more so just like if you over deliver on everything. It's like theoretically over delivered on that.
Yeah.
And then like I started getting these broadcasting gigs.
Yep.
So just like you
Got
always try to continue over delivering, and then, but then it's different when it's like podcasts like this. Like there is no such thing as over delivering.
No, it's just doing it.
It's, do I want to do it or do I not want to do it?
Yeah. And do you ever not do shit?
Yeah, all the time.
Like what?
Here, you want to read? I have a list of show ideas.
No, I'm saying
I can read some, but I can't read the ones that I haven't scratched yet because those are coming soon. But like, actually, I'm trying to think what I can.
These people who are reaching out, Buster is going through his Red Supreme book, finding the page. If you can hear, if you're listening to this, are these people who have reached out to you, or saying these are show ideas that you have?
Mostly show ideas that I've had, because the other ones I'll see them out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell some other ones, but yeah, it's just like, you know, you just want to expand out. I'm sure. What is that for you?
I don't know. I don't flip the script. I don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know. I was just asking because I'm curious. I'm interested to see what it is.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Right now?
Yeah.
Like tomorrow?
This summer.
Create content and shit? I really want to go skiing, man. I really want to go skiing.
Have you ever been skiing?
Yeah, I skied every year growing up. I just haven't done it in a while. So either go skiing or I don't know, go to Bora Bora or some shit. You know, Japan. I want to go to. Like, I really, really want to go to Japan. I'd love to go to just these magical islands, zone out, go to a meditation retreat, 7 days, don't talk, some shit like that.
Do they have to have Wi-Fi?
Huh? No, no.
Because my answer is yes.
Really?
For the most part. Right now, yeah.
You think you could plug out for 7 days?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It would be difficult.
Yeah.
It would be very, very difficult.
Yep.
Like there would be significant things that I would have to make up.
What do you mean?
Like people relationships and like, just because like, it's like, oh, you didn't write back, bro. It's like,
well, sorry.
It's like, I didn't know you meditated for 7 days.
Do you think you could not talk for 7 days?
Not talk?
Not meet anyone or talk. It's called silent retreat, I think.
No.
For 7 days?
No. I'll go crazy.
You don't think so?
I'll go crazy.
You think so?
Here's what I'll say. If time literally stopped outside of me, I could. But knowing that time's not stopping outside of me, I couldn't.
Why?
Did that not make sense?
No, I'm saying why?
Because like there's too much noise, like that being constant of that and not being like in it, or even like this is my version of that, right?
So you're essentially, I'm just trying to explain. So you're saying that there's too much going on, and you feel like you're missing out on so much opportunity by not talking or doing anything, meeting anymore for 7 days. Have you ever been on vacation for 7 days?
Yes, but with Wi-Fi.
Like, imagine you didn't do anything. Imagine you didn't do anything for 24 hours. Could you do that?
24 hours? Yeah, I could do that.
He says as he's typing on his phone.
The video, you'll cut to that. But audio, you'll just have to take his word for it. I'm just
interested. That's cool. Cool.
Quickly though, a couple for those that watch this. Make sure to follow at Eliot, at Dunk.
Yep. Just DM me. I don't really care about the follows. I mean, that's cool and all. Yeah. But my interest, the most interesting for me always is like getting people who watch it. If you watch this far, you're a fucking stud. It's been 2 hours almost. Like
you are
if you watched it, you are a legend.
And if you skip to the end to like hear this, then you're like a smart. Like you're smart.
Well, yeah, that for me is more interesting than anything. Talking to the people and hearing any insights they have. Like what was the takeaway? What was the question you had from the interview? What was something we should have touched on when we spoke, but we never got there? Is there a segue that we went on that we never got? You know how like we never got back to? Like shit like that would be super interesting if you DM'd me.
DM at Eliot your favorite takeaway from this podcast. Make sure drop a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. And also go to iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, wherever this podcast lives for the couple minutes of exclusive. So we'll see you there.